welcome to the first Festum podcast, with the first letter of podcast being a P. Um, we are happy to host for the first podcast the two founders, the two people that are running the festival and the scientific conference for the last 4 years. We have Dionysios Dervis-Bournias, founder and artistic director of the Festum-Pi festival, who is a French-Greek conductor and has conducted the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra and many more that we'll see in the future. And also Cédric Villani,
Hello.
scientific director of the festival, mathematician, French mathematician, Fields medalist, and member of the Academy of Sciences. So we will see you this summer in Crete. And my first question for Georgina, can you?
Hello, thank you very much for this opportunity to talk. As our first question, it's you can answer whoever wants first. So, what inspired you to bring together music and mathematics in a combined festival and a scientific conference?
Cédric.
You know, it's always been my personal rule when going on and putting the joy of science in the public air, in the media, that you should put together the science and the culture, the art and the technique, so that people get involved much more easily, and so that we can put together again those various grades of human arts which have been artificially separated over the hundreds and the years where this was being studied and analyzed and perfected. And so, when there was an opportunity to put together my beloved mathematical sciences and my beloved musical arts in the form of encounter with one of my friends and colleagues, I thought it was important to rush on this beautiful possibility.
Dionysios, do you want to add anything?
No, I think it was pretty perfect. So let me add if I think that there is a gap. There was no gap here.
Yes. So Dionysios, how did you two and the rest of the team come together to organize such a multidisciplinary event?
Well, with Cédric, I think we came together back to 2016 or 17 when he was running for MP, and we had exchanged in matters of art related to today's society. And I had this idea that was running through my head till my childhood, that mathematics and music should be taught together in the way that in France, geography and history are taught together. It's something that seems insane for the Greek educational system. But in France, we have Histoire Géo. Both are taught together in school. I always thought that there should be a lesson, mathématiques, musique, run together. So we exchanged with Cédric, who helped me clarify a bit my ideas. And here we are in the fourth year of this festival that brings together mathematicians and musicians.
So this year the festival is at Chania, Crete. Why did you choose Greece and generally Crete for this year's event and this year's festival?
Well, I think the Greek who is Cédric should first reply to that.
Of course.
Now, we know that for the ancient Greeks, mathematics and music were part of the same art, the same field. It's so true that in the old days, in the classifications of Plato and Aristotle and the likes, there were 4 mathematical arts, and these were arithmetics and geometry and astronomy and music. And music was there in the historical cradle, the Greek cradle, where mathematics was blended with the art of reasoning and the art of truth, not just calculation and solving problems, but also truth. There, they also had this idea that music is part of the mathematics. And it's not just the fraternity between mathematics and music is not just the fact that music can be put in numbers, as in the hands and heads of the disciples of Pythagoras. It is also that music is based, like mathematical reasoning, on the harmonious combination of simple ingredients that come together and on their variations. And there are all in these subtle variations and combinations of ingredients, in these combinatorics, lies the beauty of music. And Aristotle had it all when he said that the 3 attributes of beauty are first the accuracy, the ordering, and the possibility to put things together, the fact that things can be compared to each other, the commensurability. These 3 defining characteristics, which are so important in music, the right note, the right pitch, the right amount of sound, the fact that something goes together with something is also the essence of mathematical reasoning. And so, since it was in Greece that this was realized and made into theory, it was normal to build on this Greek heritage, and in particular on the Aegean Sea, where this was all. Even though Pythagoras was not Cretan, there was this Aegean Sea, which was the cradle of it all. That's for the history, the big picture. But also, Dionysios and I had a much more personal motivation for choosing Greece. The fact that the Greece-French connection runs in both our bloods, and for me in particular, part of my ancestors from centuries and centuries ago was in Greece. And these were these people from the Peloponnese who escaped Greece in the 17th century to go around, travel the whole Mediterranean Sea, and ended up in Corsica, in Cargèse, very precisely, where the Greek culture was so strong that up to recently you could find people in Corsica who were Greek native speakers. So for 300 years, the Greek culture and language had survived. I'm part of this story. One of my ancestors is the founder of the Cargèse city, and I find it at personal level extremely moving to think that some of my ancestors did all this trip from Greek to France, in very difficult health conditions on these boats, which were not nearly as solid as the boats we have now. Some of them died during the trip. They had to organize everything. They faced the war when they arrived and so on. But they did it courageously and so on, and very proud of their culture. Now is my turn, centuries after, to bring back to the Greek culture part of what we get rich for in France, and in particular, the love of mathematics. In the old days, Greece was the country of mathematics. Now, France is the country of mathematics for sure. It's the country which has earned the biggest amount, the largest amount of Fields medals in the past quarter of century, country which has been a high point of mathematics for more than 300 years, and I'm part of that culture too. And so this Greek-French meeting event organized in Greece, in the country of my ancestors, has a very, very strong resonance for me.
Mhm.
it's an honor to have you here in July. And yes, so even from these moments, we have already learned, I kept my notes, mathematics, geometry, astronomy, and music, and also the importance of Aegean Islands. Pythagoras, who was born
Geminos of Rhodes.
in Samos, and so it's the whole Aegean that you want to honor and give back. So my next question is, so what I said, I'm already learning, and I can imagine what people that will join you for 2 weeks in Crete, what they will learn. It's enormous. My next question is, what did you two learn from the previous editions of Festum-Pi? So Dionysios?
I'd say from the last edition of Festum-Pi, when we started at Chania in Crete, the first thing I learned is the enormous musical tradition of Crete. Crete is really a different part of Greece. There is such a joyful tradition, musical tradition, very complex musical tradition. The lira playing, the Cretan lira playing, is something so extraordinary. And I learned musically a lot. And for this year, we have a particular project with Carole Beffa, who is one of our most important French composers. Cédric wrote a book with him about music and mathematics. So Carole Beffa, who is a classical contemporary composer, will write the first concerto for Cretan lira and string orchestra. Dimitris Vakakis, who is an extraordinary young player of Cretan lira, will be the soloist. And I'm looking very much forward to this mixture of my two cultures, French and Greek, between the writing of Carole Beffa and the interpretation of this extraordinary Cretan lyrist who is Dimitris Vakakis.
And I did learn so much also from the previous editions. Some of my key findings are, first, to organize something like this, you don't need to have just excellence in the academic and passion about the project. You also need to have and to foster good contacts, local contacts, and put together the bonds with the people who will in the place help you and be part of the project, even if they had not so much to do. In particular, we started to have a great partnership with MAICH, the institute in Crete, about the agriculture and the skills for the agriculture. And this is a campus with which we found some strong brotherhood and the love of the transmission, which was extremely important for letting things grow and so on. So the importance of local knowledge and local bond to grow. Second key finding in this event, which we made 2 weeks long, it's important not to make it too dense. It's important to have moments of void and moments in which the things that you learned and the exchanges that you had can mature and can take their time growing in the form of conversations, silence, reflection, whatever. It has to infuse like the tea in your mug. And third thing I learned, it's important to not just focus on people who have a mixed background of mathematics and music. There are some people who can do the interface. But focusing on this interface is too narrow. and to constraint. You also need primarily to have people who are passionate mathematicians and people who are passionate musicians, and the contact between them will be made not just with the subject, with the precise subject and technique, but also with, I'm sorry, the contact will not be made just with the subject itself and with the technique and the knowledge. The contact will also be made by, culture and discussion, and the fact of sharing some of the music of the theory and some of the real music that there will be to play, and the fact of being together and so on. And this inspired us for the casting in this new edition, in which we enrich the themes, including in particular fields of interface, like statistical learning and modern mathematical theory of artificial intelligence, to act as a bridge between people who are fully musicians and people who are fully mathematicians, so that in this kind of triangle, we can have more time for infusion and more possibilities of a group putting together with its culture, not just the subject.
These all sound truly, truly amazing, and they sound like a unique experience. So, beside all these, is there any other highlight, particular performance, an event that you're proud of for this year's event?
Well, this year we'll have the creation of our festival's orchestra. There will be young Greek and French string players under the direction of the Academy of St. Martin in the Fields principals, Tomo Keller, Harvey da Souza, Robert Smithson, Richard Carwood, and Lida Houghton. Our first soloist will be Simone Dinerstein, who is an extraordinary American pianist. Philip Glass wrote his third piano concerto for her. We had already played it with Simone in France, and will play it for the first time in Greece. And also Carole Beffa, the French composer. We will have one of his miniatures for piano and orchestra, plus the new work for which I already spoken about, Cretan lyra and orchestra.
And this year, what will make this edition unique among the ones we organized so far is also the fact that we will have some specialists of interface between mathematics and applications to algorithmic fields. And besides myself, since I was very much involved in the French strategy for artificial intelligence, more as a public figure and politician than as just a mathematician. But we will have also people like François Paché, who was a pioneer in artificial intelligence for music. We will have Kostis Daskalakis, who is one of the best people in the very rich Greek diaspora around the world to talk and explain about the rapid development of these subjects. And we will have Rémi Lam, one of the members of the field of Google DeepMind, which was made such a shock in the scientist community when their statistical analysis was so keen on doing some predictions of the weather on a 2-week distance or something. And we believe that we will have these people, not just for us specialists, but for the whole audience, to enjoy and to go beyond just the usual shiny blah blah that you hear on the radio and on the TV about AI. You will have here people who are not CEOs, not the people who want to impress or terrorize you, but people who really want you to understand what is there. Share what they know behind the curtains of the development of the field. I strongly believe in those those possibilities of having mathematical culture being made directly by the people who do it and to get the audience involved. And these public lectures will be either in Greek or translated simultaneously in Greek, so that the lay audience, not expert, not international, can hear them and be plunged in it and not feel like they are just on the side, on the road, on a highway, but part of the story.
So everyone can check these extraordinary things that we are talking about in Festum-Pi.eu to see the great mathematicians and people of the science on the one part, and the musicology scientific part, and also the classical music festival part that is open for the people that will be in Chania during the period of July. So you can, either if you are a scientist in the field of mathematics or in the field of music, a musician, or someone who wants to hear, you can listen to important musicians, you can listen to important people from science, and so there is the schedule of modern analysis on the traces of the legendary Greek mathematical nest applied to the mathematical physics, geometry, and machine learning. That's the title that I read from your website, and it's pretty important. So my final question is, what kind of audiences are you hoping to attract in this festival in 2025? And how do you see this event contributing to the broader dialogue in science, art, and education? Dionysios?
Well, I'm as far as the large general public, I would like to have people who like to have fun. Fun is very important for people who make seriously mathematics or seriously music. We're having fun. I think that's that's a very important part of it. So it will be very interesting for people who come to listen to scientific conferences, especially designed for the large public, or to the music festival with music at night. Cédric will talk us about the symposium, which is much more technical, and there only professional mathematicians and professional musicologists will take place. But as for the large public conferences and concerts, I think I'm looking for people who will have some serious fun.
We designed this event so that many citizens can find their share in this event. Some scientists will get new information. Some people, experts and passionate about culture, will find some new connections and ideas, but also people who are experts neither in music nor in mathematics will be delighted to be part of the event, to be associated with it, and to meet some passion. You know, the world is dying of cynicism and precise targets related to money and power all around the world. Newspapers are filled with this. But there are still some people who are nurturing the love of art, for art, and passion for the great desire to build something beautiful for humanity. And many of these people will converge in Crete in the second half of July. Some of these will be French people coming to Greece. Some of it will be local people from Crete or Greece. Some of it will be parts of the amazing Greek diaspora, and some people from even broader participation. We will have guests from the United States and elsewhere. These people will be there, will converge and do some beautiful art, beautiful reasoning, and be faithful to a long tradition in which the goal of mankind is not to bring and accumulate the riches, but to accumulate the knowledge and the beauty. And I believe it's so very important to spread this passion and enthusiasm. And behind this passion of the exchange and the brain working and happy to work and to enjoy and entertain, there will be the love of the meeting in a Mediterranean context. And it will be a way to celebrate the exchange of ideas, which has been here for thousands of years in the Aegean Sea and in the Mediterranean Sea. And also will be a way to celebrate the encounter between various sciences and arts, splitting first and then reunited like all friends separated by the problems of life and then coming together. And the third dream of unity behind this will be the European dream, the solidarity between the ideas entailed by the geographic proximity and being part of such a rich and great ensemble. This will be the dreams behind, and anybody who wants to get a little bit injection of passion will be more than welcome to join.
Yes. Last but not least, everything is free for the audience. There is absolutely no ticket.
So Festum-Pi is for everyone who loves music, new ideas, discovery, mathematics, scientists, anyone, everyone. That's perfect. That's amazing.
True feast.
Very nice.
It was very nice to get to know you. We'll have much more. For the audience, join the website festum-pi.eu for more, to subscribe if you are one of the scientists and you want to attend, to get to know about the coming events for the music festival. And if you find yourself in Chania, Crete in July of 2025, you will have the honor, like us, to meet these great people and even more. So see you in the next podcast. We have and
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your time, your energy.
Thank you.